So episode 2 of The Last of Us season 2 is quite controversial because the thing happens, the thing that made everybody mad. We start off with Abby, who is the character seeking revenge on Joel for blasting his way through the lives of the Fireflies. At this point in time, we have no idea who she lost. We're thinking maybe it's a boyfriend or something. She's here with her RPG group of characters that don't matter, and they realize during the daytime that the YME settlement, oh snap, is actually pretty freaking huge.
That's what she said?
I like how Abby seems to care about this guy, but I don't know if that's her brother or new boyfriend or what have you, but she seems to care specifically about him or gives him more care than the others.
Get up. Let me see.
It's all right, now that we know what we're dealing with.
What in tarnation?
Sweet Jesus, what happened to her hair? I knew it looked funny at first, and this must mean this is the woman from Intergalactic Heretic Prophets game. Unless she was wearing a wig before, but then why would she be wearing a wig in the apocalypse? Also, wouldn't it make more sense if we're supposed to believe that this character shaved her head for her to keep her hair if they're going through a cold area, or keep her wig or whatever? Like, unless you have lice, what would be the reason to shave your head right now? I mean, it could also be, I don't know, that she's militia, and if she fights or scraps a lot, she doesn't want people pulling her hair. But every other woman here has hair except for the one biracial woman. Speaking of which, she looks very Asian. It's not a nitpick. I know it's a weird thing to say at the moment like this, but I love genetics. So when I see biracial people, I like to try and guess where their genetic ethnicity is. We know she has African ancestry. I can see that very clearly. But just looking at her face and her structure, she looks kind of East Asian to me, but I could be wrong. So anyway, this guy is going over the issues with the settlement, which is another bout of exposition, but at least it absolutely makes sense here. Him saying this, because this is better writing.
Main gates, no other ins or outs. Guard towers flanking each exit. Mounted patrols, all heavily armed. Overlapping routes.
These guys are trained.
Yeah, they've got some vets down there, for sure.
We got full fucking power lines.
See, now that's cute. And now they realize that the settlement ain't no bitch. They have power lines. Where's the power coming from, though? And they mentioned that they've got dogs as well, probably Belgian Malinois or German Shepherds or something. Not to mention the most important problem, as he points out, they don't know if Joel is in there or not. And even if he's in there, how the hell are they going to find him without raising suspicion? Unless, of course, they come in like everybody else, since, you know, the settlement has a habit of letting each and everybody inside the settlement that they find under the guise of just being regular survivors. The others are concerned, but it doesn't even feel like they're fully on board with this, except for the one cute guy in the bunch with the black hair, who's obviously going to be a problem later.
Hey. Wow, you look like shit.
What, were you suffering from temporary blindness all this time? You're just now realizing that? Anyway, Jessie goes on and on about how Ellie apparently had quite the night last night, and then she just spills her guts about how she kissed Dina, thinking that's what he meant, and claiming that Dina was just being high. And I love how Jesse responds to this. His response is just really hilarious because it shows how much of a non-threat Ellie is. Imagine that. You date a guy looking like Jesse, and then the girl ends up going for this. Would you be threatened? It would have been worse if Dina had found some other guy that's like way bigger and way hotter than Jesse or smarter than Jesse. He would have been like, well, damn, now I feel like shit. Was I inadequate? Did I not satisfy her? Same way that girls would probably feel horrible if their guy left them for a much hotter girl. But you're a guy that looks like Jesse and your girlfriend leaves you for someone that looks like Ellie. You'd probably be like, whew. Definitely her loss. I'm sure it also helps that Ellie is not another dude. I even knew this before my husband explained it, but he claimed that hypothetically, if me and him were to separate and I decided to go with another woman, he wouldn't feel bad. What would make him feel awful is if I got with a hulking dude with a gigantic dinosaur dick. That would kill him inside, especially if he thought there was a chance very shortly after that we could somehow rekindle our relationship. It's a biology thing. On the flip side, I know this is so off topic, but kind of on topic too. If my husband left me for another woman, I would feel extremely sad. But if he left me for another dude, there's no hope. Like, I'm sorry, there's just something about having a freaking pipe that just skews the balance. If he became gay, I just know that he'd be having like the best sex he ever had in his life, and there's no way I can like physically match that. Like, how do you come back from that? A girl can come back sort of from being bi-curious or whatever. Once a guy gets blasted and his insides get mixed with a freaking flesh baton and someone bakes his cake, I don't think there's any situation where he'll go back to a woman and be like, yep, I think I'm done testing those waters. Like, having your insides rearranged by a human spoon is just next level experience. Like, you cannot replicate that. And I've seen women that are like really attractive, and I could say, oh, she looks really cute, like a cute dude. I would definitely. But then once the pants comes off and she's like turned on and she's like, hold on, let me strap it on. I'm sorry. It's, for me personally, it's not the real, like, it doesn't grow, pulse, and shrink. And you know what? Okay, I don't know where I'm going with this, but the point of the matter is, that's the way I try to cope with Jesse being so completely okay with this. Either that or my guy over here is a player and getting his Jones on. Who cares about Dina, right? When he's probably got half the colony of bitches on his chopstick.
Seth and Joel, you kissed her.
No.
Wow, Ellie, come on. We've been broken up 1 week and you made a move on her?
I didn't make...
Seriously?
Dina, you didn't mean anything. She was probably just trying to make you jealous. It didn't mean anything. It didn't. I wouldn't do that.
I'm screwing with you, man. I already know. I don't care. Come on.
You're the worst.
It's kind of fucked up you did that, though.
I mean, it is. You admitted it. Dina was very high and you took advantage of that, Ellie, didn't you? I wonder, if Ellie had been a dude, would everyone have just looked the other way if a guy took advantage of a woman being high in this situation? I mean, sure, Dina did throw herself at Ellie, but if that's how Ellie really felt and you kind of took advantage of her, I mean, she even told you she was high, and Jesse's the worst. I know they're joking, but it's still kind of fucked up. Like, you knew he was watching too. Like, you didn't care about anybody but yourself. No self-control whatsoever. But whatever, people have needs and all that shit. Still pretty shitty to do to your friend. Even if I had a crush on the person my best friend dated for so long, you think I'd take the opportunity to kiss that person at the very party where I just spoke to that person? That's nasty work. Anyway, they do a little bit of exposition here, and honestly, they do that a lot in this season. I have no idea why they continue doing this. Even though the thing that Jesse does exposition for is kind of shown later on in this episode, it would have been a great surprise. This thing that he talks about would have been something I would have wanted to see. So I really don't understand why they're having Jesse here bleeding out everything beat for beat that happened when they could have shown us this.
What's everyone doing?
Council put the town on alert. Last night, Kylie and Max found a pile of dead infected near 7 cabins. Frozen stiff.
Okay.
They didn't think anything of it until 30 live ones broke through from underneath the corpses. They're using their own dead like insulation.
30. Fuck. Okay.
You see what I mean? Why didn't we actually get that whole scene? You know, the one that could have carried half the episode? Seriously? That would have been the perfect situation, to be honest, to throw Ellie into, especially with how smug she's been acting lately. Like, I could have forgiven the overconfident writing in episode 1. I really could have. Sorta. Maybe not. But they even started to deliver with the whole stalker bit. But then nothing after that. No follow through. It would have been great for them to throw Ellie into a situation that genuinely shook her. You know, remind her and us what it's like to be afraid so we can relate to her actually being afraid. Something that caught her off guard completely that she just can't stab or shoot her way out of. Completely unfamiliar territory that actually challenged her instead of just coasting on this snarky woman in the apocalypse. Imagine being a good writer. Now imagine doing the job you claim that you're good at and getting paid for. Such a wild concept.
Yeah, sprinted back on the horses, sent a squad out to clear the infected, but now we're thinking we don't know how many are underneath the snow.
You see what I'm You see what I'm talking about with this dialogue? Why was this needed? You could have just shown us this. As a matter of fact, this could have been, actually, now that I think about it, its own episode. But no, let's just have Thick Dick Jesse tell us the story of the episode they could have just shown us. That would have been way more exciting and interesting, to be honest, than the first trash of an episode that we got.
1,000 more?
1,000. Get the fuck out of here.
Yes. Certainty masquerading as knowledge. It's very Ellie of you.
Suck my dick.
Did you forget you don't have one of those? But you did taste one recently, though, since you kissed Dina. Peen eating by proxy. Still getting that vitamin D without having a drink from the faucet. Let me stop. So anyway, Jesse tells Ellie that because she told a ghost story about the smartest infected, this spooked the whole town. But really, what did he expect her to do? Not say anything? So Ellie's like, well, you know what? I'm gonna go do my patrol with Joel, which is weird and seemingly comes from out of nowhere because from what we're told through implication, the last 5 years, this woman has made it very clear to everyone that she hates his guts. And she goes out of her way to not talk to him, like ever. But apparently now she's serious? Maybe she'd rather do it with Joel because she can't stand looking at the guy's face after she took advantage of his ex-girlfriend that he just broke up with, where they have an on and off relationship. But Joel already went with Dina.
Because that's the one person you've been avoiding like the plague.
Well, we're better now, okay?
That's one, because last night
Yeah, I know
did-
what happened last night. Can you shut the fuck? My shit with Joel is complicated. I know that. From the outside, it probably looks really bad. It has been really bad. But I'm still me, he's still Joel, and nothing's ever gonna change that. Ever. So you can all stop talking about us, worrying about us, and thinking about us. Alright?
Twould be easy to do that if you weren't making a fucking scene half the time, Ellie. Bro, she's the one who usually ends up blowing things out of proportion and doing the most. And then she's expecting people to not think about them? You're making it super impossible to do that, dumbass. Oh my god, I'm Ellie. And at every turn, I'm making it super apparent how much I absolutely loathe Joel. But even though you see it happening right in front of your eyes every day, don't think about it, Car. Don't acknowledge it. Wow. Don't let your brain process what's happening right before your freaking eyes. Sorry, Ellie, but not everybody has the low IQ ability to just turn their brain off when something is literally happening in front of them that warrants their attention. Jesus, her character is nauseating. So Joel's brother Tommy is telling everyone the plan just in case they get breached by the infected because of that whole exposition thing. The scene that we were supposed to have, the one that Jesse told Ellie because of that having happened off screen. Maria, whatever, she's just Tara, whatever, calls Ellie for a conversation. And it's a pretty awkward situation because Ellie didn't know that this was coming. But I do like what Tara does here, because if they're going to be in the settlement, they're expected to hash things out. Except, why didn't Tara also demand that Ellie hash things out with Joel? Maybe it's because Joel and Ellie came into the settlement together and this cook guy is like one of her guys. I mean, but it's been 5 years though. Like now they're part of the people. But if people have hatred towards each other in settlements, I would expect as a leader that you would sit them down and make them hash things out. I bet you that's what they do in the army, because that can literally put people's lives on the line if you're not in sync. If you have reckless people like Ellie who don't even want to talk to people they're supposed to be working with, or who think she's better than everyone, who can barely follow instructions to begin with. What if you don't settle something and then someone ends up holding a grudge and stabbing someone else they don't like or not rescue them or something? Anyway, that's the resolution we get here from the dude who insulted Ellie and Dina the night before.
Oh, fuck me. Stay where you are. Thank you. Seth, we have something to say?
Yeah, so last night I obviously had a future ready.
It happens to everyone. People get drunk and say awful shit they've never thought before. Ellie.
No.
I noticed Tara is Tommy's wife, and Tara is the leader of the settlement, but her husband isn't the leader with her. They don't even feel like husband and wife. Ellie doesn't respect him or listen to him, but she'll respect and listen to Tara. Weird. That being said, in relation to the scene, it is fucked up what the guy said. But Ellie is acting like she's a sanctimonious saint of not saying shit to hurt people that she shouldn't even be thinking. Like what she literally did to Joel the night before in response to Joel sticking up for her against this very guy that she doesn't like. And other things she said to people in the past as well. Everyone just conveniently forgets that. And the funny thing is that she ends up showing this dude more grace than she does Joel. Look, I get it. Joel's not perfect. Yada, 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 whatever. He's done a lot of things wrong, but why are we acting like he's the only person in this entire apocalypse who's ever done something wrong, who's killed people, who's had to kill probably innocent people to survive or feed their freaking kids? You think everybody in that settlement is innocent? Every single one of these people out here in the settlement have done some awful things to survive and protect their loved ones. And we're pretending as though these people were just literally handpicked from real current day society and placed in the settlement. Like they've never had to go through anything bad or make these horrible decisions. Really?
No, that's fair. I shouldn't have said it. I shouldn't have even thought it. I'm sorry. I made you two some sandwiches if you're going out there. They're steak.
Mm.
Nice. Yeah. Well, you be safe out there.
Yep.
Could just be me. But if this is the guy that's responsible for, like, cooking my food, even though he was an asshole, yes, I would take his apology. I would try my best to get on his good side, because he can fucking poison me. Like, I don't know. We can all say what we want. But if you're poisoned and dead, it's not like you can go back and teach him a lesson. He's in one of those occupations where, like, yeah, you still hash it out, but you should try not to keep it going as a grudge for too long. I mean, he apologized. And it sucks, but what more do you want from him? I would try to sit and talk with him, because clearly he comes from another generation where they're a bit ignorant and they just say what's on their mind, which can be a good thing because you want to know what people are thinking about you, right? I would rather someone be honest with me if I live with them to my face about something that bothers them, even if it's bigoted, instead of smiling in my face and talking shit about me behind my back or having a grudge against me because of my lifestyle. Like, that's very important to me. If I make you that uncomfortable, I would like to know so I can stay away from you. Or maybe it can be an opportunity to open up conversation because clearly you have some misconceptions about who I am or what I do. And the thing is, he might not have to like it, and we can agree to disagree. It may bother him, but I can say, look, that's on you. I don't have a problem with certain things that you do as long as you don't push them on me. I won't push them on you, but we can still work together. I forgive you. Let's get past this. Don't ever do that again. You know what I'm saying? But no, that's beneath Ellie because people are beneath her. And in the apocalypse, who needs people, right? Even though you literally need people to help you survive. I would want to be the bigger person, so if for whatever reason me and this guy are ever holed up together in a situation, he doesn't want to just leave me out to die. He would feel guilty doing so. Anyway, Kara is pleased. She looks at the guy, she's like, very good. You did good, Seth. And to be fair, he did seem to give a heartfelt apology. While Ellie and Jesse are out there, they get a signal that they should come back.
Come back.
Honestly, okay. Here I go with my internal misogyny again. I don't really understand. Maybe I'm wrong, but if something happens to Jesse, Ellie can't pull his body weight. And this is something my husband pointed out as well. If Ellie and Dina had gone out together, yes, it would have been weird, but it would have made more sense because they're kind of in the same weight class. So if something happens, I mean, I know for me, I'm around Ellie's size. I can pull another female. I can't pull a dude that's like freaking 6 foot something or way taller than me. Why take the unnecessary risk? Joel and Dina, right? Them going out doesn't make sense either because if something happens to Joel, she can't really have his back unless she's covering him with gunfire. But if he falls, it's going to be much harder for her to help him physically because of his weight. It's different if you're out there, like that's all you have available. Like when Ellie and Joel were going across the world together, they literally only had each other. But here they're in a settlement where you have other options. So why would you have super big dudes with super tiny women doing patrols with them? If someone needs to be pulled up, sure, the women can be helped, but the weight class is not the same, so you're not going to be able to help the dude. It might seem like that I'm harping on gender here, but yes, I am. I'm just looking at basic tactical logic. And it's not some, oh, well, you know, women can't do anything argument. I'm not saying that, but it's a practicality issue. Practicality? This word sounds weird. Practicality? I might be wrong, whatever. But it's a practicality issue. Hope that's right. That applies to anyone, regardless of what gender you are. Even in real world professions that deal with dangerous or life-threatening situations like firefighters, your soldiers, you got the EMTs, the expectation is that you can carry your partner out of danger if necessary. Firefighters and soldiers literally train to drag or lift a fully geared adult from a burning building or who's unconscious on the floor because lives depend on it. It's not optional, it's protocol. That's why it's called a fireman's carry. The actual thing is actually called, I think it's either a dead man's carry. I've heard that too, but I think the official term is called a fireman's carry. Look at this clip right here. These are two dudes that are around the same size. As a matter of fact, the guy pulling up the other guy on the floor looks to be a bit bigger, and he is still struggling to freaking lift this dude. Like, so sorry to be nitpicking Nancy over here, but when The Last of Us Season 2 throws a smaller female like Ellie or Dina on patrol with a full-grown adult man and expects us to believe that this is smart, approved pairing, it's not believable from a logistical or survivalist standpoint. What happens if one of them, the guys gets shot, right? What happens if Jesse breaks his leg, gets mauled, or, you know, if Ellie can't haul him out of there, they possibly both die. And she might be able to make it back to the settlement, but there's a reason why the two of them are together, because it ups the chances of survival. They can help each other. And now, not only is this guy going to die because she can't even carry him to safety or shelter, but she also lowers her own chances of survival because she doesn't have someone watching her back. If she could have carried him away to shelter, she could have given him a gun and he could still cover her or something, right? Or let's say that Jesse gets knocked out. Right? His head hits on something and he's like, Ellie, I'm unconscious, help me. I mean, I can't talk, but you know. He's okay physically for the most part, but he's kind of out right now. It makes sense to have a partner who can at least carry him to safety immediately, so when he wakes up, you both are okay and you can watch each other's back and you get back to town fine. Not saying that's always the opportune outcome, but you up the chances of survival when you have someone strong enough to actually help someone else. And it's not like you have a bunch of people you could choose from. You have dudes you can pair with dudes and women you can pair with women. It makes no sense. Now, if Ellie were trained or equipped to carry someone her size or much larger, then show us that. But as it stands, the show is making decisions for drama points instead of realism. Might seem like a waste of time, me harping on stuff like this, but for real, if anyone is out there trying to do shows and you want people to be immersed in your show, it helps to have people point out the discrepancies. I also appreciate that when people do that with my work, because the one thing I don't want is to publish my work and I come out looking stupid because a world that I want people to believe in makes no freaking sense where it should make sense. Anyway, they find a place to shelter, they keep the horses in a garage nearby, and this is a place that Jesse's been keeping a secret. Voila, a weed farm. And can you guess? We're going to get more exposition instead of showing.
How'd you know about this place?
Eugene,
He was my first patrol partner. One day he showed it to me. Said he found it a year earlier when he was on a solo patrol. Swore me to secrecy. Said Maria wouldn't be supportive of his farming.
Notice he said Maria, which is the person I call Tara, wouldn't be supportive of his farming. Her husband is never ever mentioned in any decision that has to do with the people or the general rule of the settlement. Even if Tara met her husband after she already acquired the settlement, you're married now, so you should share in that responsibility, right? She's supposed to be an extension of her husband. He's supposed to be an extension of you. I mean, I don't know. This is so weird. I don't know, dude. And it's not like her husband isn't capable. I just find it very awkward.
Okay?
Oh no.
Oh, great heavens!
So we discovered that Eugene used to be a Firefly a long time ago, and all now, I swear to God, I still don't remember who this man is. Are we just gonna continue using Jesse as the exposition dump dude? I mean, Eugene is important enough to mention more than once, but not important enough to show him and show what Joel might have done. Why does it feel like they tried to crunch everything into this season? Because it's probably gonna be the last season, maybe. Because otherwise, this whole thing could have been half a season. And I mean that when I said that. We could have had this as part of the storytelling for the show for a whole season. We're being told a lot of things. Eugene was a former Firefly, that Joel supposedly killed someone's husband. Oh, but apparently he had no choice but to do so. But somehow it's still bad because of the way he did it?
I hate you for it. And yes, I know you had no choice. I know that. I know I should forgive you. Well, I've tried. And I can't because of how you did it.
That's Eugene we're talking about, by the way, in case anyone forgot. So yeah, we're told all of those things. That people are mad at Joel, and Joel is the reason why Ellie's mad at him. And even though she's always mad, even before he met her, that Jesse knows all these side characters and events that we, the audience, have no emotional investment in. Because we're not being shown any of it. It's crazy, because The Last of Us, at its root, is a story-driven, character-heavy world. Both the games and the show function as visual mediums. But since the show doesn't allow you to actively play as the characters like you do in the games, I'd argue that you need to work even harder to help the audience visualize what's going on with them. The power of the series has always come from emotional immersion. We feel things because we see the relationships, the tension, the grief, the fear, anxiety, all of that. When you skip the showing and just tell us what happened off screen, it completely wastes the story's potential and it robs the audience, us, of any payoff that we're supposed to get as a result of someone realizing what happened or seeing the reason someone acted the way that they're acting or why they're freaking mad. But yeah, and they continue doing exposition with Jesse once again, telling Ellie that Eugene used to be in Vietnam and he was tired of all the killing and blah, 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 and again and again and again. This would have been the perfect opportunity to show us this. Why didn't they give us an episode of this? For crying out loud, Righteous Gemstones, which is supposed to be a comedy drama, does a better job at this by giving us backstory to these characters. They don't tell us jack. They show us everything. They'll have whole entire episodes that showcase backstories of certain characters that are going to be important to introduce later. If you're going to introduce a character that was either background noise or not an integral part of the story and expect us to care that they're dead or that their family members care that they're dead, give us a reason. And don't tell me that this isn't poor writing, because guess what? They took the most insignificant side characters, the two gay dudes, Bill and Frank, and they made an entire episode just for them. So later, when Ellie and Joel come upon their house and the message, I feel for them. They felt like real people and we fell in love with them as they fell in love with each other. Just ask me off the top of my head, the thing that sticks out to me most about the show. It's the episode with Bill and Frank. That's how memorable those characters were. And I think it was a beautiful match with how different their personalities were. And then they went out together. That was a gorgeous love story. And I was actually surprised and actually raved about it because Hollywood usually does this really sucky job with gay characters. And they built upon those two so well and it felt real, like these people were actual people in real life that were in a real relationship. When they had arguments and discussions, it felt real. When there was tension between them, it felt real.
Fuck you! Come on! Hey! Would you stop? Do I ask for things? Ever? Why am I even saying that? This isn't for me. This is for us.
Who cares what they look like?
That's why I remember them out of this entire show. I don't even really remember Ellie. I don't remember Joel. Like, they don't stand out to me. The only reason Joel is the least bit memorable is because he's played by Oberyn Martell.
Say her name. Elia Martell. You killed her children. Elia Martell.
Say her name!
Other than that, it's not like he's a standout character, and that's saying a lot because he's considered one of the most likable characters in the show, but he's actually quite bland, to be honest. He's basically reprising his role from The Mandalorian, and nothing's wrong with that because it's a good contrast between him and Ellie. But let's be honest, there really wasn't much to go there in terms of interest. Both he and Ellie are kind of forgettable. Also, what the stupid fake therapist woman had said, all of that would have been a great opportunity for us to see her life with her husband Eugene before they were infected, or if they had to deal with issues during the time they were together before he died, we would have seen how they were with each other so we could have a better impact on why the therapist was mad and why she felt the way she did towards Joel, outside of just, you killed my husband because you absolutely had to. But no, that's asking too much.
Eugene was a Firefly?
Yep. Just early on, though. Quit back in 2010.
How come?
He said he was tired of killing people. I think he was in Vietnam. That was a raw deal. Joel having to put him down.
So you hear what he said there? Joel had to put him down. Like, put him to sleep. Again, they could have shown us this. In this episode, I'm sorry to spoil it, everyone already knows because they're watching this review, but Joel dies. So what's the point of us even having to do a backstory or flashback after this? People are like, all the freaking comments that I suspect they're fake. They're like, oh my god, this is so great. I can't wait till we see all the flashbacks with Joel and Ellie. Like, they're legit people leaving comments like that. And it's so ludicrous to the point where I believe they're fake. They gotta be some AI thing, experimental or something, because ain't no way they have something like this happen and you have a whole bunch of these freaking bot comments talking about how they're so excited to see flashbacks with Joel and Ellie. Are you serious? Like, does that sound like something a real person would have said? And why would they even do that? But they can't even give us a flashback of this man that everyone's talking about and wasting their breath on? Freaking Eugene, who I don't even know what he looks like?
Fucking shame. Guy makes it to a war. End up going on like that. What are you gonna do? Couldn't be saved.
So what I gather from this, and also based on what some of the fans of the franchise had said to me on the last two videos that I did, apparently, as Jesse seems to imply, Eugene got bitten, which is why he had to get put down. Apparently that was not his story in the games, but in the story he got bitten, and just like everybody else had to deal with this colony, Joel apparently was responsible for putting him down. Joel put him down before he could become completely infected, or he already was infected, but before he can infect anybody else. But yet the therapist bitch is upset because of the way he did it? What the hell else was he supposed to do? What the hell is wrong with this freaking show? And I don't want to hear one more person tell me, well, Alteori, if you played the games, you'd understand. It's not the writer's fault you didn't play the games, you stupid bitch. Oh my god, shut the fuck up. I didn't play the games, so what? Now what? Half the people watching the show didn't play the damn games, hence why a show is being made about it, so that the people of the franchise can reach a branch of audience that didn't play the fucking games. What is such a hard concept to grasp about that? Why are people so fucking dumb? Oh my god. Sorry, I think I'm PMSing hard because I have zero tolerance right now for nonsense. Anyway, we follow freaking G.I. Joe Abby, who ends up busting her ass, which is actually kind of funny. And tell me why following this character is more entertaining at the moment than following Ellie. Hell, maybe not with Abby, but I would watch a show with just Jesse already. And this isn't saying much. It's a very low bar that's been set here. Abby is way more likable than Ellie, and she's not even likable, to be honest. So take with that what you will. And you see the scene right here? This would have been the opportune time to surprise the audience because nobody would have seen this coming. We would have all been like, oh my god, what the hell is going on? Why are all the infected sprawled around like that? Okay, so the cold froze them? Whew, nothing to worry about then. You know, subvert the hell out of our expectations. You see? So when this starts happening, we would have all been like, oh, yes! But because they decided to tell us earlier that this was the case through exposition, That's what I'm gonna start calling Jesse, by the way, Mr. Exposition or Mr. Tell Don't Show. I already knew as soon as she landed here that this was going to happen. But if we're following Abby at this point in time, I don't know, let us experience what she's experiencing. And clearly from her reaction, she didn't expect this to happen. Good Lord, the writers suck.
Old people burning, put your hands up, it's kind of messed up.
Anyway, we get Abby running for her life, and it looks like that meme with Johnny Depp running from those angry people. And this is actually kind of entertaining. From here on out, this episode actually delivers on action, making us feel as though the infected are scary, especially in the scene where she's behind the gate. See, that was really good. That was excellently done because I've never seen a concept like that done before in this specific way. Like, these people actually know how to do suspense, but I still hold to the point that they should have shown all of this with a group that Jesse mentioned, or just not have Jesse or any of those people know it all and have that be a plot point later on to surprise the characters with. Maybe she experiences this, but the other people have no idea what's going on, or maybe have the patrol go out there with Jesse and Ellie, and then we see this actually happen to Jesse and Ellie and have them in this very situation that they're showing us with this random person who we shouldn't really care about because we just met her. Yet I think I might be in the majority when I say I care more about her in this situation than I would Ellie. Because by then, we care about Jesse. We don't want to see anything happen to him, because like I said, nobody gives a damn about Ellie. That would have been a great way to introduce this kind of scene instead of just telling us this happened. That was such a wasted opportunity. And how ironic that Joel is the one who ends up saving her, which is so convenient for her, but Abby doesn't realize it's Joel until Dina says his name. Then Abby's like, you know what? My friends are up in that log house. Let's all go there. Meanwhile, Joel's brother is very worried about him, and I feel like this is another missed opportunity, because it would have been very interesting with them being brothers and having the relationship that we barely get to see anything of. But we did start off with these characters for Joel's brother to have been the one to go on patrol with him. I don't know. I just feel like that would have been better. I mean, from episode 1, season 1, we started off with Joel and his daughter, and his brother Tommy is literally the third character that's introduced that we're going to be following alongside. Tommy was with him when the outbreak happened. For the most part, he was alongside him for most of it. So yes, it would have been more poetic and fitting for Joel's brother to have been alongside him. It would have been more impactful since apparently Joel's brother is like the only person who loves him now. Jesse and Ellie get the signal that nobody can reach Joel and Dina, and I can't even really say that Ellie cares that Joel is at risk because he's with Dina. So we don't know whether or not she's scared for Dina or for him. Now the people have activated the cordyceps. Now the rest of the hive knows where the settlement is and breaks off and starts heading back there. What kind of fake horseback riding scene is this? Stuff gets really real when they start to see the horde heading straight for them, and this is honestly terrifying. Well done. We actually get to see the settlement in action with all the preparation they put together, and they're escorting the children and the women and the old. And my first thing is, hold up. Why is this guy going down there with them? There's nothing wrong with his feet. He's not old. Strange. Even if his wife is dead or something. But remember that whole tangent I went off on about women being a little bit more valuable in terms of breeding? But whatever. Oh, there goes Tara. So at a glance, this is a very good plan, except if it goes where I thought it's gonna go, it doesn't make sense unless you plan for the whole wall being burned down, because, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like the majority of the wall around the settlement is made of wood, is it not? Also, and I'm sorry, but this pissed me off, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. You can have a decent scene with good action, but it's like the people who wrote this show know nothing about guns, because if you look at every single one of these guns, even without the sound, as I'm going to play here in a second, where's the recoil? Like, if you took away the special effects, where's the recoil? What? Sir, it looks ridiculous. None of these dudes look like they're firing a firearm. Look, they're not. What the frick is going on? I know some people might not think that this is a big deal, but attention to detail means pride in your work. But no gun in this entire episode is shown having recoil, which is extremely important if you want your scene to look realistic. Everyone was just holding it like they've never held a gun before, or rather they wrote the scene like that, right? They're just holding it, and then someone just adds in special effects. This is lazy. This is extremely lazy. If you're gonna go all out and make a good action scene like this, go all out. But that's like the bare minimum, bro. Like, you can't even tell that he fired the gun, aside from its mechanism and the special effects. This is just shameless, man. Shameless. Anyway, I don't know if they coated the wall, but tell me how, with these things having fuel on them and being lit on fire and then pressing themselves up against the freaking wall, a wooden wall, that the wall wouldn't start burning as well. Seriously, look how many of them. And it's not just the fire that's burning, some of them still have the fluid on them, but regardless, it's wood. So the big cordyceps dude is used as a battering ram. I'm just wondering, was it impossible for anyone to aim towards that thing? They're successfully landing headshots on all of the infected, but yet the biggest one out of all of them, which is the biggest target, nobody can hit that thing.
They're gonna breach! They're gonna breach!
Ay, Dios mío. Tommy said that they were gonna breach, and instead of him instructing everyone to aim toward that thing, take its legs out or its head, he just runs away and then prepares everyone inside for the thing to come in and all its friends. Did he not have enough time to see it? There are people watching from everywhere. They had a clear target, bro. Look. This is what I'm talking about with manufactured drama. I know all drama is manufactured, but it's not supposed to feel like that, because if seeing that thing indicates to the characters that there's a guarantee they're gonna get breached, it's not rocket science. Try to take it out. Instruct the people on the inside to be ready in case there's a breach, yes, but instruct everyone on the wall, like they're already doing, to aim for that thing to make sure that doesn't happen by taking out the very thing that's gonna cause the breach. The hell?
Gonna breach!
So anyway, it breaks in, not surprising. Everyone with their non-recoil guns starts shooting them.
That's so dumb.
We got the Ghostbusters over here with the flamethrowers that are so ineffective, it's unbelievable. I don't know, but aren't there flamethrowers that kind of spew the liquid out too, so whatever you throw the flame at, it gets coated in the liquid so it keeps burning? This clip I'm showing you right here looks like that's what that is. Otherwise, this is a waste of time. And look at them all running away. Can't really blame them, because what are these flamethrowers supposed to do? And I wouldn't call those men cowards. They probably understand, yeah, flamethrowers aren't going to do anything against this. Even if we can fry a few of them, there's no way. Plus, they're also breaking through the buildings and stuff. It's stupid. Also, is it wise for Tara to be out here? They have one son, her and her husband. I get that she's a big leader of the settlement or whatever. She is the leader, and she wants to help protect her baby and her people, but at the risk of both of you dying, like, then your child's gonna be an orphan. But it made sense for Tara to stay down there with her kid. But anyway, she's on the roof, so she has to be safe, right? Except no, because those things can apparently climb, or either that or they're using the stairs to get up there pretty quick. They'll be fine. She's not gonna die. Also, I love this action scene because it's the best we've gotten, which is probably not saying much. But the other thing that annoys me is how much plot armor Joel's brother has. Bro is charging straight towards the infected horde. And he's able to stand there for quite a while, attracting attention to himself by firing at the big thing that he should have been firing at before it reached the wall. And all of the infected are just ignoring him and going around him as if he's one of them. Look, he's drawing its attention. Look at how many of them are just running past him. Look at that, dude in the jeans jacket to the right, just running past him. One's right there running past him. This is horrible writing. Then he gets cornered, but no worry. He has so much plot armor, he'll be fine. He burns this thing over and over again, but instead of ducking and trying to get around it when he still has time, he's blowing the flamethrower at it, which is look at that flamethrower. It looks so bad. This is the worst kind of flamethrower to have. But he backs himself purposely into a corner, which honestly I can't really see his kind of character doing. Is he gonna die?
Stay tuned for scenes from our next episode.
The baby cow.
So this is where we see Tommy die, right? Because there's no way he's making it out alive unless his wife saves him, or the writers do.
Are you serious, man?
That was so horrible. You had all that space and all that time to get around this thing, and you just sat there and prayed. Are we really being serious? You didn't stick the flamethrower out and try to put some distance between you and the thing like every human instinctively would? It's like these people are not the same people from season 1. And so the thing can be killed. Pretty sure if everyone had aimed for its freaking head, it wouldn't have breached the settlement. But no, we needed the drama. The settlement looks like it's not doing a good job, but Tara cuts through the horror She's ignored as well, and she releases the hounds. Now, the writing here is stupid as well, but I forgive it because the dogs are okay. The dogs are like super good at fighting, and they're like dire wolves. And I looked up if the dogs die, and no, the dogs do not die, so I don't even care. And question, how do the dogs know who to attack? Were they trained to attack infected? They must have gotten infected and trained the dogs to be aggressive towards them. But how would you do that in a controlled environment? And then half of those dogs are just ripping out the throats of the infected, which takes way more work. What if this was a real person? What if it's just killing some of the... What if it's killing some of the members of the colony? Anyway, just go with it. I'm okay because the puppies are okay. So I'll forgive that, no matter how ridiculous it is. It's not like it's an important plot point to the story anyway. But it's weird because apparently the tide turns when the dogs enter the scene, because after this, apparently, even though everyone was dying, somehow the infected... This looks like a regular person. Oh my god, that would be so funny if the dogs are like, we doing this? Who we killing? Who we killing? They don't even care. They're just like, just kill anyone. It doesn't matter. Look at this guy, because look, the infected, look at its face. If it was really infected, it wouldn't look like this. This guy's probably like, what the fuck? We got infected and dogs we gotta worry about, bro. Anyway, let's get to the meat of the stew. This is where Joel realizes he's been got. Oh no, Joel, you're not going anywhere, buddy. And Joel being told through this long, unnecessary speech that he's about to die.
I saved your life.
What life?
Sister fired a shotgun with zero kickback whatsoever. At least she tried to make it look a little bit more like she had effort than the other people did. Also, why did Joel's whole body go back like this? It hits his leg, and it looks like wires pulled him up or something. Why are people still doing this in Hollywood? You realize that's not what happens. When someone is shot with a shotgun, whether it be buckshot or birdshot or whatever, people don't just fly off into the air. That doesn't happen. It's not freaking Django.
Cora, before you go, will you tell Miss Laura goodbye?
Do what now?
I said tell Miss Laura goodbye.
Bye, Miss Laura.
Bro, dude shot her and Satan pulled her into the other room. Off topic, but kind of on topic as well. Who the fuck is this? What is that? Because it says Abby's the one who's speaking in the subtitles. Sorry. Are people juicing in the afterworld? Like, what is going on up in... Okay, now I get it. I thought they were just edits. I really legit thought they were edits and people were exaggerating with their edits, but this is legit in the game. Are we being serious? What are these men? What in the T-Rex? Anyway, they were so against a dude having this role that they had to put a girl that looked like a dude to play the role. Man, the freaking writers of this game and the show are crazy. Y'all whack. But yeah, the scene was freaking ridiculous. Honestly, I'd like to know what kind of guns these are that people are using in this universe.
Do you know how many you killed that day? Did you count as you went? Or I guess maybe it just didn't matter. 18 soldiers. And 1 doctor.
This is all very sad, but also crazy when you think about the fact that these people were also ready to kill Ellie. Yes, they were doing it for the greater good, but they were still gonna kill a little girl for a chance that something might have worked. And now people are telling me that there were apparently other kids that they tried this on and they all passed away. So I don't know. Is this really a competition?
An unarmed doctor you shot in the head. Yeah. That was my dad.
Oh dear.
Oh, okay. Ooh, now I kind of understand. Gross. As a daughter, I completely get her rage. Because if it were my... I don't even want to go there. I don't like thinking about it. But it's not like her dad was on the side of the road minding his own business, going la-di-da-di-da, getting sucked off in his car on the side of the road. He was getting ready to open up a little girl's head and kill her against her consent for a chance that they may get a cure. A chance to cure this fungal infection thing. So Ellie has essentially functioned like a guinea pig to these people, the Fireflies, and the doctor knew damn well that's what would have happened. So he's not completely innocent either. The needs of many outweigh the needs of a few and all that jazz. I get it, except you have to understand that Joel was operating at exactly the same level of protectiveness to save his adoptive daughter's life that this girl is now for her father, who's already dead, who was actually going to be the one to kill Joel's adoptive daughter. They did a good job with laying out the groundwork for us understanding her motive, but when you really sit with it for a minute, it's not enough to make you like her character. I'm just saying, because from what I'm hearing, apparently it's gonna be hers and Ellie's story now, and I'm sorry for her, and I feel for her that she lost her daddy, but I don't care enough about this bitch to want to follow her story. Call me crazy. At this point, the way the show is going, I would not be surprised if Ellie went to go get revenge against this girl and then she and the girl end up dating or something. I swear to God. If one of you tells me that's exactly what happens in the games, I'm gonna fucking laugh because you cannot be serious.
I saw him. I was 19.
Funny how she's now playing the role of Oberyn Martell, the same role that Joel, the guy who plays him, was playing in Game of Thrones. And Joel's daughter that you're going to cut open on the table and take her life, she was only 14 at the time too, you know. During this entire time, why isn't Joel saying anything unless he wants to die? That was so infuriating because I'm waiting for him not to beg for his life, but to actually say something, you know? Sorry, I don't know, something. Maybe it's not in his nature or something. But maybe also because he's trying to protect Ellie in his last moments, he's like, if I try to defend myself, it's going to put them onto the fact that Ellie is immune, which doesn't matter because Abby should already know that. Her doctor was the person who was going to experiment on Ellie. So she already knows that, so it still makes no sense. Seriously? She spent this entire time doing a long speech like one of those Disney villains. They even had this cringy line about how handsome he is, but he's not though. Like, I'm not saying Pedro is ugly, but he's not really handsome either. He looked okay as Oberyn Martell, but he's not really handsome. That's not how I would describe him, but whatever. You can say rugged, but handsome part, I don't get it. Yeah, no, I don't get it. He feels like one of those redneck uncles that you see cooking meth outside of the trailer and he's in his whities. Maybe that's just the way they made him up for this, but one of the situations where he took off the helmet in The Mandalorian, I was so underwhelmed. Like, I don't remember if I knew it was him playing The Mandalorian or not, but I feel like I didn't know or I blacked it out or something, because when he took it off, I was like, ugh. Because his voice is really sexy. He has a great voice. And then when you see the face, when it's been covered for so long, you're like, damn. You know, it's like those face reveal videos with some YouTubers, and then they're like, oh, I'm gonna show my face now. And it's like, oh shit. The fans are all excited, and they're like, no, don't ever do that again. Just let's pretend that never happened. Those kind of situations. That's kind of what it was like with The Mandalorian.
In your 60s now? You actually are pretty handsome. Congrats on that.
What kind of fucking No, he's not. Girl, you're more handsome than he is. This dude is more handsome than Pedro is. And he looks like a freaking squirrel. To each his own, whatever. So she spends this entire time doing a long speech like one of those Disney villains.
Oh, it's funny. I have waited
Just shut the fuck up and do it already.
That's what I was saying. Bitch, you came here to do a job. It's not like you have all the time in the world. Why are you talking so damn much? And for all that talking, I finally kind of realized she didn't even ask him why, but she probably already knows, which makes it worse. Like, oh, I know my father was about to kill your adoptive daughter. Who cares? Also, why is her father's life more important than Ellie's? At this point, it's because we all hate Ellie, you know? But you know what I mean. So she's like, you don't get to rush this, old man. You interrupted my speech. Now I gotta show off in front of my bald-headed friends. Then Ellie comes riding in, and I'm wondering, where's Jesse? But anyway, she finds out what's going on, and she's subdued easily. And before anything even happened, I was wiping my face in frustration because I was like, I swear to God, if this bitch starts crying, because you had 5 whole years to make things right with him, and you chose not to do so. You chose, even though he was the one constantly coming to you, trying to reconcile with you over saving your freaking life. And now, when his life is in danger and he's about to die, now you're concerned? Now all of a sudden you care about him when you couldn't be bothered to shit on the ground that he walked on? I want you to notice the way that bald-headed woman over here is doing Ellie. She's much smaller than her, but yet her knee is pressed down in her upper back, right between the shoulder blades. And her arms are restrained. It's not important, just I don't know, thought I'd point that out.
Joel, get up! No. Joel, fucking get up! Joel, get up.
End it.
Joel, get up. I want you to notice what a piece of shit Ellie is. Obviously, she can't help it, and she probably knows what's about to happen, but not once does she ever say, I'm sorry, or I forgive you, and then try to encourage him, or something. You know, this can possibly be his last moment. She's supposed to be smart enough to know that, or at least I don't know at this point, because they've written her character so stupid. And even if this woman doesn't kill him, he obviously is probably too injured to recover, or maybe not. Tell him you forgive him. Say something since you can't do anything. Give him one last moment of peace. But nope, we're waiting for that to happen, and it never does. He never gets that because apparently the writers hate him so much, and I have no idea why.
Please don't, please don't do it, please. Please don't.
Why is Ellie crying? You had 5 years to make amends. And now that he's fucking dying on the floor, now you want to cry? What are you crying for? All this time he was hurting. His heart was breaking because of how you treated him. And now you want to cry? Also, they put Dina to sleep, but Abby is so selfish she would rather someone else see what happened. Like what she had to see, finding her father dead. She wants to do this to this person. She must know who Ellie is, right? But they don't put her to sleep because fuck Ellie.
Please don't. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you.
That doesn't sound very convincing to me. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. Like, that doesn't sound very convincing. I would have been a fucking savage. I would have been screaming like freaking Spear from Primal. And this is probably, Ellie, exactly what Joel probably was feeling when he saved your life. Ellie, from the very people that were trying to kill you without your consent. Ellie, the ones that are standing in front of you right now as well. Sounds stupid saying that, but that's what happened. Imagine this starts a whole domino effect of Ellie seeking revenge, and then someone else that she kills, her boyfriend or someone else, Abby's boyfriend or whoever, secretly wants to get revenge on Ellie, and then Ellie dies or whatever, and then Dina wants to get revenge. It's gonna be so stupid. Watch. Even though I give it that the action scenes were much better in this episode, a lot of it was still stupidly written. And killing off Joel when there's no longer any payoff to him reconciling with Ellie or anything like that, it honestly makes me wonder what is the point of the show and why did they take it in this direction? Why did we even, as an audience, think that we would need to care about Ellie crying over Joel? She hated him, and now all of a sudden she's crying over him. It's very jarring and it makes no fucking sense. And yes, I get it, they're following the source material itself, but I can't for the life of me understand why they took it in that direction as well. It's the stupidest thing you could have done. There's a way to kill off main characters, but if your main characters are the draw of the show, then there's no show without them, and I'll get into why that is. By the way, I want you to notice here, this man shows one of his members of the colony that he was bitten. A lot of these people probably are. They take the gun and they pop him. No hesitation. Joel did the same thing. That's what the implication is. He had to put someone down just like that. And somehow he's evil. When I'm sure lots of people in the settlement had to do that. How many of these people had to do that this therapist was helping, and she had no problem helping them knowing they did that to someone else's loved one, but they had to and had no choice. Anyway, back to Joel being the heart of the franchise, and this being a bad idea that they killed him off. Whether it was in the game or not. And I know it was in the game. You see, everyone thinks that the story has always been primarily about Ellie. But the more I look back on it after, looking back at the pieces from the first season, the more I realize that it was about Joel's emotional resurrection. A broken man who lost his daughter in one of the most traumatic ways imaginable. Especially when help was right there. He learns over time to open up again, to love, to trust, and live again through Ellie. Joel's arc is what made the first story endearing. It's why people are making the comparison between this and The Mandalorian, aside from the fact that the same dude is playing or voicing both characters. Just like in The Mandalorian, the whole draw was the bond between the two and how they worked off each other. You got this very stoic, broken down guy who's all about business, and his ward is this kid that's very special and needs to be protected or delivered somewhere. You can cut and paste that on either The Last of Us or Mandalorian. In Joel's case, he's in charge of this girl who really doesn't take things very seriously, and it worked until they made his character a complete shell of its former self, and Joel's character was already a shell. Meanwhile, Ellie's character grows up into a batshit crazy bitch. That's right, I forgot the one male leader they had of a group that was supremely evil, and someone reminded me of it, and wouldn't you know, it's the one dude out of the entire show that's a leader. That's funny. But yeah, usually if you're gonna kill off a central character, there's a bunch of other central characters also carrying the show, or that the story is built around. You can have supporting characters, and then the main characters, or the main characters that all work together and then you kill off a supporting character. Because the thing is, we as the audience are supposed to be seeing things or going on this adventure through the eyes of the main character. It's like killing off Peter Quill from Guardians of the Galaxy and then saying that we're gonna follow Drax's adventure or Gamora's adventure. And as much as I like both those characters, I'm sorry, not having Peter Quill in there doesn't make any sense. If you're gonna kill off a very central character or the actual main character of the story, you have to have a very good damn reason for that, and it has to enhance the story somehow. I can understand if they make Joel come back as a freaking clicker or something and he has to fight his nature of being one and override that for his love for Ellie. And as stupid as that sounds, that would have made for a more sensible story than what they chose to do here. I mean, they could have worked it in, you know, given how intelligent we see some of these things. You know, the stalker thing was very intelligent, but The Last of Us didn't do any of that. Instead, Joel is killed in the most anticlimactic, disrespectful, cruel, and shock for shock's sake kind of way, barely into the story, episode 2 of the second season, which is completely unnecessary. And it doesn't feel like a meaningful end for this character. It feels like the writers threw him under the bus just to shock the audience or because they have something against the character. They did this in the game to piss off the gamers, and then they harnessed a whole different audience that weren't gamers and decided to do the same thing to them. Like, seriously, to the writers.
Who hurt you?
Like, what did the audiences do to deserve this? Why are you doing this to yourself? Because you must know this is only going to end in ruin for you and the show. And like I said before, Ellie is not enough to carry this franchise. She was a good character because she was there to balance out Joel. She only functioned as a plot device. I'm sorry. It was an interesting plot device, but she doesn't work without Joel. She became who she is because of Joel's love and protection and the dynamic between them. Forcing the story to become all about Ellie's rage and Abby's redemption or whatever the hell is they're gonna try to do, it completely flips the emotional center for the series. And now you want us to emotionally invest into a character who murdered the protagonist that everybody loves, who was the focal point of the story. That's like watching someone burn down your house and then being told, okay, now go live with them and care about their problems. Sorry, no. Why in the hell should we care about Abby's problems when she killed Joel? Because she completely disregarded his and Ellie's problems. This whole narrative that they took with killing him was just, in my opinion, very cheap and lazy. And let's call it what it is. Provocation. Can't just gut the narrative core and expect the rest of the story to hold itself up. Joel was the engine of a car. I swear this is the last metaphor. But Joel is like the engine of the car, and the showrunners basically yanked out the engine and expected the car to keep driving because they slap new paint on the doors or something. And the only way that that happens is if the car is already going downhill to begin with. And if that's the case, you already know it's going to end in a trash heap at the bottom of that hill. So then what's the point? And if the only way you can get the car to drive is by pushing it downhill without having the engine, then you're a freaking idiot. And you're lazy instead of just fixing it. Let's see if the car flies once it drives off the edge of the cliff, though. We could be wrong, but I can't be the only one who has very little interest in the show after Joel has bit the dust, because I am not staying around for this.
But I will say, I don't know if you can tell by looking at me, I do have family members with Down syndrome. It almost got me out. I got you, but it nicked me.